But there's something else. If we were doing a course here, or if you wanted to take an exercise, you might take a little notebook as you go review through the book the many different ways that Joseph is sort of an anticipatory type of Jesus Christ. We've talked about that in Genesis 22, how Abram and Isaac was the father. It was an anticipatory type of the crucifixion. That very spot that Abram offered Isaac, another father did offer his son as an offering for sin. So that's called a type or an anticipatory model, right? In what ways was Joseph a type of Christ? Well, they're both shepherds, right? In fact, Abel, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, and David were all shepherds by background. And who is the good shepherd? Jesus Christ. Well, okay, that'll fit. It's interesting that both had a distinctive vestment, whether it's a coat of many colors or long sleeves. I won't get into all that again, but we do know that it was distinctive enough that it was, remember in chapter 37, but when you get to Psalm 22 or Matthew 37, you notice that one of the aspects of the cross, of the many details I might mention, one of the mentions that they departed his garments, but they cast lots for this special robe that he had. He was hated of his brethren. That's what John 1:11. He came to his own received him not. But as many as did receive him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God. He was hated because of who he was and because of his words. Joseph was. So was Christ. Well, that's kind of interesting. His future sovereignty was foretold. Certainly Joseph's was. Remember those dreams? And same thing with Christ's. All through the Old Testament, specifically by Gabriel to Mary, he'll sit on the throne of David, and it was the very accusation that he made when he was under oath before the authorities. Joseph was sent forth by his father, so was Jesus Christ. Joseph sought his brothers until he found them, so does Jesus Christ. Joseph was conspired against by his brothers, so was Jesus Christ. His words were disbelieved, so was Jesus Christ. He was insulted and stripped, so was Jesus Christ. He was cast into a pit, and I infer from the subsequent hints that he was in that pit 3 days. He was sold, so was Jesus Christ. In fact, we believe Judah negotiated the bargain with the Ishmaelites, and Judas is simply the anglicized Greek for the same name. Isn't that kind of interesting? His blood was presented to his father. So was Jesus Christ. The sin offering we saw modeled in anticipation in Genesis 22 and so forth. Joseph was sorely tempted, but he sinned not. So did Jesus Christ. And where was he tempted? In Egypt, which is idiomatic of the world. So are we. He was falsely accused. So was Jesus Christ. He made no defense when he was accused in chapter 39. That's what Isaiah emphasizes in anticipation too. Anticipation also. He was cast into prison and without a verdict. Joseph was, and so was Jesus Christ. He suffers, though he was innocent, and there's allusions to that in Acts, Psalm 105, Isaiah 53, and so forth. He suffers at the hands of Gentiles, indeed, in chapter 39, but so Joseph did, and so did Jesus Christ, and that's emphasized in Acts 4. And yet he won the respect of his jailer. So did Jesus Christ. He was numbered with the transgressors. Remember Joseph in prison, there were two, right? Where's Jesus Christ on the cross? Between two. Interesting. Just a coincidence. The predictions, of course, came true in both cases, both in Joseph and Jesus Christ. He was seen as a revealer of secrets. Joseph got a new name because of that reason, and so is Jesus Christ. Isaiah mentioned Isaiah 62, that Jesus will receive a new name, and we find that echoed in Revelation 3. In fact, not only does Jesus get a new name in Revelation 3, verse 12, you and I apparently get a new name in Revelation 2, verse 17. And, of course, we talk about the whole counsel of God, and, of course, that's all through the Scripture. So, by the way, there's more here, I guess. He's a wonderful counselor. He's seated on the throne of another. See, Joseph was on Pharaoh's throne, in effect, and, of course, there's a distinction in heaven between the Father's throne and the Son's throne. The Son is on the Father's throne, but he's destined to take David's throne. He was exalted because of his personal worthiness of service. Joseph was, and so is Jesus Christ, as emphasized in Philippians 2. Joseph had a Gentile wife given to him. So did Jesus Christ. He was 30 years old when he began to work, according to the Scripture. So was Jesus Christ. Joseph dispensed the bread of life to the whole world. So is Jesus Christ. Joseph's brethren were driven out of their own land. And he was unknown and unrecognized by his brethren. And there's also a 7-year period of Jacob's trouble you can sort through if you like. With the notes, the supplemental notes, you'll find over 100 of the. I've just gleaned a few of the obvious ones. There's over 100 of these. Arthur W. Pink identifies most of them in his commentary, and we include a summary of those plus some others in our notes that accompany this.